sitting on the edge, and maybe coffee going cold between our hands. You looked at me like you already knew what I was too afraid to understand. The room was quiet but my heart was loud. Every word felt like a fragile thread. I knew if one of us leaned in too far, something honest would be said. We circled truth like it was glass, careful not to let it break. Both pretending we were fine with whatever choice we made. It was the night we stayed friends, when love learned how to bend. We folded all the feelings down and called it common sense. I smiled like it didn't end. You said this was for the best, but something inside me changed the night we stayed friends. We knew the clock was ticking even when we laughed it off. You said, let's not name the ending, like silence could make it stop. We held hands like a secret, afraid of daylight truths. Every smile felt like a warning, every kiss already bruised. You looked at me like you were leaving, even when you stayed the night. I learned how to love in seconds, knowing mornings wanted their rights. We were living on borrowed time, counting heartbeats, not the days. Every moment felt like stealing something heaven wouldn't save. You loved me like a deadline, I loved you like a promise meant to last longer than borrowed time. But I stayed anyway. But I stayed anyway. Said forever, I pretended I didn't hear. You spoke in careful distance as I leaned into what was near. We made plans that ended early, left words unfinished mid-air. Like if we didn't finish sentences, the ending wouldn't dare. I memorized your breathing, like proof you were still mine. But loving you felt like holding a glass about to slide. We were living on borrowed time, dancing close to the goodbye. Every see you later felt like a carefully disguised lie. You touched me like it mattered, but left before it bent. I gave you all my open heart, you gave me borrowed minutes spent. Maybe loving you was bravery, maybe it was just denial. I stayed knowing how it ended, just to feel it for a while. There's a courage in the leaving, but there's truth in what I chose. I loved you even knowing how the story closed. We were living on borrowed time, and I paid with every tear. You walked away right on schedule, I stayed long after you disappeared. Now I don't chase what expires or beg love to pretend. If it comes with an ending date, I won't call it when. I won't call it when we can. We loved like time was borrowed, and now it's been returned. But I keep the way it felt and the lesson that I learned. You said let's not make it heavy, like love was something fragile to touch. We set rules before feelings, like we already knew too much. You kept one foot near the exit, I memorized where it stood, learning how to hold you loosely, like you warned me that I should. We laughed about the ending before we learned to start, calling it no expectations while you were mapping my heart. We were temporary, us written in erasable ink, You never left your jacket at my place overnight. Said you liked your freedom more than staying for the fight. I caught feelings like they were rumors. You pretended not to hear. Every time I said I miss you, you smiled like it wasn't clear. You called it keeping it simple. I called it learning restraint, but my heart doesn't do temporary. No matter how much I train, we were temporary, us counting days instead of dreams. You said this is good for now, like now is all it means. I loved you in full sentences. You spoke in ifs and whens. I was building something lasting. You were passing through again. Maybe I ignored the signs because leaving felt too loud. I thought love could change your mind if I loved you hard enough. But temporary turns so lonely when you're the only one who stays. And I finally see the truth in all the words you never say. We were temporary, us, and I paid the permanent cost. I stayed through all the uncertainty. You stayed until you were lost. Now I don't beg for half a love or learn to understand. If someone wants me temporarily, I won't let them hold my hand. You were never meant to stay, and I was never meant to try. But I learned the hardest lesson from a love that said goodbye before it even said hi. There's a sweater on my chair that still smells like your cologne. I don't wear it, but I keep it like a place you almost owned. We were standing in the doorway, every word caught in our throat, saying soon instead of now, like we had forever to postpone. We were careful with the truth, like it might shatter if it fell. So we wrapped it up in silence and called it wishing well. These are the echoes of almost, of hands that never stayed, of love that learned my heartbeat but never learned my name. Every maybe, every pause still follows me around. I hear you in the quiet. These echoes of almost sound. We talked in future tenses like it made the fear feel small. Built a world in conversation, never brave enough to call. I memorized your laughter like it was a favorite song, but I always knew the chorus wasn't meant to last too long. You said timing was a ghost, I said love would wait, but we both knew we were lying to protect what we couldn't save. These are the echoes of almost, the words we didn't choose, of loving you in subtle ways with everything to lose. I replay the moments where my courage let me down. I hear you in the quiet. These echoes of almost sound. Maybe another version, we're not afraid of the fall. Maybe we don't overthink and maybe we choose it all, but we stayed on the safe side of the line we never crossed. Now I live with the question, was the almost worth the cost? These are the echoes of almost, they linger in my chest. A love that never happened but still won't let me rest. I've learned that what we don't do can hurt the deepest somehow. I don't miss what we were, I miss what we almost found. If I close my eyes, I hear it still, a story without a vow, just the quiet fading footsteps of what we almost were by now. left your jacket at my place overnight. You kept your life in boxes, ready to go at any sign. We talked about the weather when the truth was in the room. Every time I asked for something more, you changed the tune. You love me like a visitor, careful not to stay. I learned how to read between the things you wouldn't say. It was love on loan, never mine to keep. You held my heart like something you could borrow in your sleep. You kissed me like tomorrow was a debt you wouldn't own. I gave you everything I had, you gave me love on loan. We smiled in borrowed moments, laughed like it was real, but every promise felt temporary, like something you'd appeal. You said, let's not rush labels, like names were handcuffs tight. But every time I needed you, you vanished from the night. I was building castles, you were packing light. I stayed hoping someday you'd decide to fight. It was love on loan, signed in pencil, not in ink. You stayed just long enough to make me start to think that maybe I could change you, that maybe you'd come home. But you were always passing through with love on loan. Maybe I should have asked for more, walked away sooner, but loving you felt safer than facing an empty future. Still, I won't blame myself for believing what you showed. I loved you honestly, even if it was on loan. It was love on loan with an unspoken end. You never meant to keep me, I was never part of your plans. Now I won't take affection that feels like it's been owned by someone who's already leaving, calling it love on loan. I don't lend my heart anymore to hands that won't hold on. If it's not meant to stay with me, I won't call it love on loan.